I stood at the altar, 25, in a white dress, ready to marry Josh, my love for 5 years. My best friend Sarah stood beside me, smiling like she cared. Then Josh took my hand, looked me in the eyes, and said, "I can't." He turned, kissed Sarah in front of 200 people, and said they'd been together for months. I'm Zoe Hart, and they shattered my heart in a Savannah church. But I didn't stay broken. I rebuilt my life, got close to Josh's dad, Henry, and married him. Now every family gathering, I'm their nightmare, smiling, winning, calling Josh son. Want to know how I turned their betrayal into my victory? This story's raw, pain, hard work, and a revenge that haunts them forever. Stick with me, because Sarah's secrets made it worse, and I made sure they paid for every lie. I'm Zoe Hart, 25, living in Savannah, Georgia, where moss hangs from oak trees and every street feels like a memory. I was a paralegal at Reed & Sons, a big law firm, working long hours, saving for a future I thought was mine. My dream was to marry Josh Reed, my boyfriend of 5 years. We met in college, him a law student, me studying history. Josh was charming, with warm eyes and big promises. He said forever first over a picnic by the Savannah River. He picked our rings, booked a historic church, chose at last for our first dance. We planned a June 2025 wedding, and I was so happy I could barely breathe. I thought he loved me. I thought we'd build a life. Sarah Wells was my best friend since we were 5, growing up in Savannah's tight-knit neighborhoods. We were like sisters, shared secrets, wore each other's dresses, stayed up late talking about boys. When my grandma died, Sarah held my hand at the funeral, promising she'd never leave me. She was my maid of honor, helping plan the wedding, picking flowers, laughing at dress fittings. "Zoe, you're going to be the prettiest bride," she'd say, hugging me tight. I trusted her with my whole heart, told her every hope, every fear. I thought she wanted me to be happy. The wedding day was perfect, or so I thought. June 7th, 2025. The church was full. 200 people, family, friends, my mom wiping tears in the front row. I walked down the aisle in a white dress, veil soft against my face, smiling so big it hurt. Josh stood at the altar, tall in his black suit, looking at me. Sarah was beside me in a pink dress, her smile bright. I took Josh's hand, ready to say my vows, my heart pounding with joy. But then his face changed, cold like a stranger's. He squeezed my hand, looked into my eyes, and said, "Zoe, I can't do this. I'm sorry." Before I could speak, he turned to Sarah, pulled her close and kissed her. Deep, long, right there in front of everyone. The church went quiet, then buzzed with gasps. Josh said, "Sarah and I have been together for months. I love her." His voice was flat, no regret. Sarah stood there, holding his hand, a small smile on her face, not saying a word. I stood frozen, my dress heavy, my hands shaking. People whispered, some laughed quietly, their eyes on me like I was a broken toy. My mom covered her mouth, shocked. I felt empty, like my heart had been ripped out. Josh and Sarah walked down the aisle together, leaving me alone at the altar, the organ silent. My dreams gone. I don't know how I got home. My mom drove me, her voice soft, but I didn't hear her. My apartment was a blur. White dress on the floor, wine bottles piling up. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, just stared at the ceiling, replaying Josh's words, Sarah's smile. Every memory turned bitter. Josh's promises at the river, Sarah's hugs, our late-night talks. They'd been lying for months, planning this while I picked wedding cakes. I checked Instagram, and it was worse. They posted pictures, kissing at Forsyth Park, eating at our favorite diner, captioning it, "Shash True Love." They acted like I was nothing, like I'd never existed. Weeks passed, and I saw them around Savannah, laughing, holding hands. At a coffee shop, Sarah looked right at me, smirked and leaned into Josh. My chest burned, not just with sadness, but with a deep, quiet anger. I didn't want to cry anymore. I wanted them to hurt, not loudly, but slowly, in a way they'd never forget. Then Henry Reed called, Josh's dad, the head of Reed & Sons. He was 50, kind, recently divorced, his voice heavy with guilt. "Zoe, I saw what Josh did. I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" I said I was fine, lying through tears. He said, "You're a good person. You deserve better." His words stayed with me, warm, like a door opening. I hung up, sat in my dark apartment, and felt a plan take shape. Henry was my way to make Josh and Sarah pay. I wasn't going to break. I was going to win. I was so angry I could barely breathe. Josh's "I can't" and Sarah's smug smile were stuck in my head, making my apartment feel like a cage. Seeing them happy online, living the life I'd planned, cut deeper than the wedding day. I wanted to confront them, tell everyone in Savannah what they'd done, but that wouldn't hurt enough. I'd worked too hard, long nights at the law firm, saving for our wedding, believing in love. They weren't going to destroy me. I told myself, Zoe, you're stronger than this. Plan carefully, make them regret it. I started with Henry. I called him, thanked him for his kindness, and asked to meet for coffee. He agreed, surprised but warm. We met at a small cafe by the Savannah River, and I listened as he talked about his divorce, his big empty house, how Josh had let him down. I nodded, asked about his life, showed I cared. It's nice to talk, Zoe, he said, smiling. I touched his arm just for a moment and said, I'm here, Henry. Coffee became a weekly thing. I'd bring muffins, share stories about my job, make him laugh with silly jokes. He started opening up, saying he felt alone, like his family was falling apart. I said, I understand, Henry. I feel that way too. My heart raced, but my plan was working. At the same time, I worked on myself. I went back to Reed & Sons, took on bigger cases, wrote briefs that impressed my boss. I started walking by the river, then running, feeling my body get stronger, let my mind clearer. I didn't tell anyone my plan, not even my mom, who worried I wasn't eating enough. I needed proof of what Josh and Sarah did, so I saved everything. Josh's texts saying, I'll always love you, Sarah's emails about wedding plans, photos of us three at dinners, smiling like nothing was wrong. I hired Emma, a private investigator, to look into them. Emma found texts between Josh and Sarah, sent 6 months before the wedding, planning to tell Zoe soon. Sarah wrote, she's too nice, she'll move on. Reading that, my anger turned cold, sharp like a knife. Emma also looked at Taste Vibe, the legal app Josh and Sarah were building with my investor, Mr. Tate, who I'd introduced Josh to at a firm event. Their app was bad, slow, hard to use, with angry reviews online. It was nothing like the legal aid app I'd told them about, one to help regular people with court forms. I thought, I can beat them. I started working on my own app, Justice Easy, to make legal help simple, with videos from Savannah lawyers, all affordable. I wanted to show them I was better, but that was only half my plan. Henry was the real key. Our coffee meetings turned to dinners at his house, a big place with oak floors and old paintings. We'd sit on his balcony, sipping wine, talking about life. He said he missed having someone to share things with, someone who cared about family. I leaned closer, looked in his eyes, and said, I want that too, Henry. He smiled, touched my hand. By October 2025 we were dating, but we kept it quiet, especially from Josh. Henry was happy, thinking it was real. For me, it was a careful step, every move planned. Emma found something else. Sarah had been texting Josh's mom, saying I was weak and overreacting after the wedding. That was the first twist. Sarah wasn't just stealing Josh, she was tearing me down to his family, making sure I had nothing. I planned the reveal for Thanksgiving 2025. Henry invited me to his family dinner, a big deal at his house, and didn't tell Josh or Sarah. I spent days picking the right dress, simple, black, elegant. I walked in, holding Henry's hand, my heart steady. The dining room was warm, candles lit, a long table set. Josh was there, laughing with Sarah, until he saw me. His glass slipped, wine spilling. Sarah's face went pale, her fork frozen. What's Zoe doing here? Josh asked, his voice tight. Henry smiled, proud. She's my fiancé. We're getting married. Josh's jaw dropped. You're not serious, he said, almost choking. Sarah gripped his arm, eyes wide, saying nothing. I looked at them calm and said, It's true. I'm so happy. Josh stood face red and pulled Sarah out, slamming the door. I stayed, talking with Henry, my smile hiding the fire inside. They thought they'd erased me. Now I was in their family, and they couldn't escape. Josh and Sarah's betrayal didn't end me. It made me rebuild. Their wedding day lies and secret texts pushed me to take back my life, not just for revenge but for myself. I'd been too open, too trusting, letting them hurt me. Now I wanted a life they couldn't touch, one that proved I was stronger. It wasn't easy. Some nights, I sat in my apartment, seeing Sarah's smirk, Josh's cold eyes, feeling like I wasn't enough. Their Instagram posts, kissing at Savannah's squares, dining at our spots, cut deep. But every hurt drove me to work harder. Every tear made my plan clearer. Justice Easy became my focus. It was an app to help regular people with legal papers, divorces, wills, small claims, simple and cheap, with videos from local lawyers explaining every step. I worked with Dee, a coder from my firm, to make it fast, no problems. Jamal, a designer, gave it a clean look. Blue screens, easy buttons, like a friend guiding you. Kira, my best friend, ran a campaign called Justice for All, telling my story without naming Josh or Sarah, showing I cared about helping people. We held free workshops at my firm, teaching people how to use the app, and Savannah locals loved it, sharing stories online about winning their cases. I got $300,000 from a Savannah investor, no connection to Josh's world, and rented an office in the historic district. Wood floors, big windows, a space for community events. Unlike Taste Vibe's fake app, Justice Easy was real, helping single parents, small shop owners, people who'd been hurt like me. My life with Henry grew too. It started as a plan, but his kindness softened me. We'd walk by the river, eat at small diners, talk about his past, my hopes. He said I made him feel alive again, and I started to feel it too. Not love yet, but something close. We planned a quiet wedding for spring 2026, keeping it from Josh and Sarah. Henry gave me a ring, simple but heavy with meaning, and I wore it proudly. I worked long hours, my apartment full of papers and coffee mugs, but I was building something, Justice Easy, a new life, a way to win. Kira hired Nina to manage workshops, and our online posts hit 1 million views. People in Savannah started calling me the app lady, and I smiled, knowing Josh and Sarah saw it too. But I was still hurting. Sarah's text to Josh's mom calling me weak burned in my mind. Josh's promises, picnics, late-night talks, felt like lies I'd fallen for. I saw them once at a Savannah market, holding hands, and Sarah gave me that same smirk. I kept walking, but it fueled me. I wasn't going to let them win. Kira said, "Zoe, you're unstoppable. Don't look back." I nodded, knowing this was about more than getting even. I was making a legacy they'd never touch. This is where I made them pay. I'd won at Thanksgiving, but I wanted more. A moment so big, Josh and Sarah would never forget. Henry was hosting a gala in May 2026, a fundraiser for Savannah's legal aid, at a grand hotel ballroom. It was the perfect stage. I helped plan it, picking flowers, lights, music, knowing Josh and Sarah would be there, invited by Henry's firm. Emma's intel said their app, Taste Vibe, was failing. Bad reviews, no users, their investor pulling out. They were struggling, but I wanted them broken. The gala was stunning. Chandeliers, long tables, 300 guests in suits and dresses. I wore a red gown, simple but bold, holding Henry's arm as we greeted people. Josh and Sarah walked in, looking nervous. Sarah in a plain dress, Josh's tie loose. They saw me, froze, then looked away. Henry gave a speech, thanking the crowd, then said, "I'm proud to share this night with my fiancé, Zoe Hart." The room clapped, but Josh's face went tight, Sarah's eyes on the floor. I smiled, calm, my heart steady. During dinner, the second twist hit. I'd worked with Emma to get Sarah's diary, stolen from her apartment, full of notes about their affair, mocking me as clingy and easy to fool. I gave it to a local blog, Savannah Whisper, and they projected pages on a screen during a Community Heroes segment, calling Sarah the altar betrayer. The crowd gasped, reading her words. Zoe's wedding was a joke she'll never know. Sarah's face turned red, tears falling as people whispered. Josh stood, yelling, "Turn it off," but the damage was done. Guests stared, some left their table. Sarah ran out, sobbing, Josh chasing her. I sipped my wine, watching, my smile small but sharp. The third twist came months later at Christmas 2026. Henry gathered the family at his house, a big dinner with candles and a tall tree. Josh and Sarah were there, quiet, avoiding me. Henry raised his glass and said, "I've changed my trust fund. Zoe gets my estate, house, firm shares, everything if I pass." Josh dropped his fork, face white. "She's not family," he shouted. Henry looked at him, calm. "She's my wife. She's more family than you've been." Sarah gripped Josh's hand, both silent, defeated. I looked at them, my voice soft. "I'm here to stay." Josh's eyes burned, but he said nothing. They left early, heads down. Justice Easy launched that spring, hitting 200,000 users, praised by Savannah's mayor. Taste Vibe shut down. Josh and Sarah's app was dead, their names mud. Every family event, I was there, wearing Henry's mom's jewelry, getting his hugs, his pride. At a summer barbecue, Josh cornered me, voice low. "Why, Zoe? Why do this?" I looked him in the eye, cold. "You broke my heart, Josh. Now every time you see your dad, you'll see me." He walked away, broken. I stood by Henry, my hand in his, knowing I'd won. Josh and Sarah's betrayal didn't stop me. It built me. Justice Easy grew big, with offices in Charleston and New Orleans, making $10 million by 2028. Our Savannah office is a community hub, free legal clinics, talks by Black and Latino lawyers, nights for local bands. The app has 1 million users, helping people with court forms, small businesses, life changes. Justice for All became a movement. Millions online shared stories of being hurt, betrayed, pushing for laws to protect creators. Josh works small jobs in Macon, barely getting by. Sarah's design work dried up, her name forgotten. They skip family gatherings, knowing I'm there, smiling, winning. Henry and I are real now. We married in a quiet Savannah garden, April 2026, and I love him, not just for the plan but for his heart. We travel to Tybee Island, eat at small cafes, plan a life together. But for Josh and Sarah, I'm their ghost. At a family dinner, Josh called me Zoe. I corrected him, gentle but firm. Call me Mom. His face fell, Sarah looked away, and they left early. They'll never escape me, their stepmom, their reminder. This changed me. I used to trust everyone, but Josh and Sarah showed me to be careful. I'm still Zoe, loud, loving Savannah's food, but tougher, wiser. At a Justice Easy event, a young woman, Maya, thanked me. Her legal app is growing because of my story. You showed me I can fight, she said, eyes shining. I hugged her, proud. My legacy isn't just Justice Easy, it's showing people they can rise. To everyone watching, when someone hurts you, use it to build something bigger. Make it so strong they can't touch it. Josh and Sarah tried to break me, but I made a world they'll never have. You can too.